Welcome to Strengths Champion Solutions, where we help you grow stronger, work smarter, and lead wiser. I'm your host, Brent O'Bannon, and today we'll be talking about strengths-based meetings. How many meetings do you attend in a week, in a month, or even a year? Most of us either despise meetings or we are totally disengaged because we have unproductive meetings. But here's the thing, we need meetings. And the question is, how can we build more productive, efficient meetings for our teams? And if you are the type of CEO, executive, leader, or manager who wants to build a strengths-based culture in your organization, I want to show you today a model that I've developed that helps you to integrate strengths into 4 major types of team meetings. Now, first of all, understand that every meeting is unique and different. And one model that I want you to be able to see today is what we call the stand-up meeting. That is at the pinnacle of this pyramid. It's at the very top. And if you notice, a stand-up meeting is typically anywhere from 5 to no more than 10 minutes. That's because that's about the same amount of time it's comfortable for most people to stand up, be on their feet, and to quickly have this meeting. Now, of course, you can have a stand-up meeting virtually as well as in person. The second major type of meeting is what we call the tactical meeting. That typically is a weekly staff meeting. And that could be anywhere from 30 minutes on average, 45 minutes to even possibly 90 minutes a week. And that particular meeting is more about accountability. It's about updating progress, and it is not being strategic. That is the third type of meeting, which we call strategic meetings. And strategic meetings tend to be longer. They're going to be anywhere from 2 to 4 hours. And they are more specialty meetings or ad hoc meetings. These are meetings that maybe you're doing planning for the new year, or you're doing special planning and brainstorming for a new product launch. So many times people try to make a tactical weekly staff meeting into a strategic meeting. And that's when you get unfocused and start chasing all the shiny objects. And then finally, there's what we call developmental or quarterly meetings. These typically are offsite. They are away from the office, and they could be anywhere from 1 day to even 2 days, giving your team a new environment, a new perspective. And you may focus that development on a particular area. Maybe it is on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Maybe it is on effective communication, or possibly what I call and train carefrontation, how to handle conflict. So these are opportunities where you take a deeper dive and you're developing your people and training your people. Now, the big question is, how can we champion strengths in the culture of our organization in these 4 types of meetings? That's what I want to talk briefly about for a few moments today. And I appreciate that you're tuning in with me. I'd love for you to put in your questions, your comments, anything that you would like to add to this conversation about strengths-based meetings. So let's first of all start with stand-up meetings. So I've worked with many different organizations, especially sales, where a group of a sales team will come together for 5-7 minutes. Now, this could also be in manufacturing, so it doesn't have to be just sales. It could be that you quickly get that team together and basically people are huddling. And just like in football, where you take a moment to huddle as a team and call the play for the day. Now, here's how you can integrate strengths 2 or 3 different ways. Number one, when we talk about applying our strengths or aiming our strengths into our goals, this is an excellent time to do that. So if someone is reporting out that they are working on a particular project, maybe they are fixing some kind of machine that has been broken, and maybe that person has restorative as one of their top 5 strengths. So basically what you do is you state what your project or goal is for the day and what is the primary strength you're going to aim and rely on in that project. So if I'm a mechanic inside a manufacturing company, I could say, I'm really going to rely on my restorative, my MacGyver strength today. I'm going to figure out the tools, the resources, and we are going to restore this broken down piece of equipment. If you're in sales, maybe you say today that you are having a follow-up meeting with one of your potential clients. And maybe your strength is relator. And as a relator, you want to commit more authentic communication. So maybe in sales, you would say, today I'm going to aim my relator strength into my follow-up meeting. I know that Joe is very interested and loves talking about his family. So I'm going to mix in some conversation and questions to engage Joe deeper so that we have a more authentic relationship and an authentic connection, and also build that loyal trust that relators love with their partners. Now, that's just one idea. There are many other ideas that you could use in a stand-up meeting. Now, let's go to the tactical weekly staff meeting. Now, in this meeting, again, strengths doesn't have to take a lot of time. Literally, I teach a lot of organizations, if you can take 1 to 2 minutes at the beginning of each of your weekly staff meetings, that is a great time to keep the strengths language and the strengths development going and growing. So, for example, maybe in a weekly staff meeting, you ask for 1 or 2 volunteers who will do what we call strengths-based recognition. They will choose someone in that team meeting and quickly highlight what was the success or the win and the behaviors that that person demonstrated, and connect which strength or strengths they saw played out in that person's performance. Now, number one, you need to understand what your team members' strengths are. So that means you probably need a team strengths grid so that you can remember what everyone's strengths are. So you're using that grid in front of you. And also you're helping people to connect recognition, which we know is extremely important in getting the best out of people and engaging them. But you're also connecting strengths language to the recognition. And it's not just, oh, you're a great strategic person. No, it's not a global recognition. It's more of, this week, Tyler, when you were able to see potential problems 2 years down the road and you came up with a better path to prevent those problems, I was thankful for your strategic strength. So strengths-based recognition is something that can literally take 1 or 2 minutes. Now, a couple other quick ideas. Maybe each week you take turns and one person, so each week it's only one person, will take 60 seconds and talk about one of their strengths so that they're teaching other people about their strength and how that strength shows up, possibly personally, professionally, their well-being, their career path. I mean, you can be as creative as possible in this. You could take one of the 34 Clifton Strengths themes and maybe one person does a quick highlight of that theme and then allows the team to respond about that particular strength. The third type of meeting I want to discuss for a few moments today is this strategic or ad hoc meeting. This is where, for example, maybe you are wanting to create a people development plan for the year. And in this ad hoc meeting, which is going to be longer, it's going to be between 2 to 4 hours, you want to brainstorm and ideate about how you could grow your people development. And it could be that you hone in on onboarding, for example, and you want to create a better onboarding process and you want to integrate strengths into the onboarding process. This is actually one of the topics when I go into companies. I have a 101, a 201, a 301, and a 401 strengths-based training. And the 101 is all about discovering your strengths. The 201 is about developing and taking your strengths from raw to refined. The 301 is about deploying strengths through the employee life cycle, looking at those 7 stages of the employee life cycle. And then finally, the 401 is about how to design a strengths-based culture in your organization. Now, at the strategic level ad hoc topical meeting, this is the one where you can look at strengths partnerships, what we call the power of 2. And maybe there's particular partnerships or topics or challenges that you are discussing, and you come up with ideas that you have this person who has the executing ability. You have another person who has more of a strategic thinking ability. And by partnering them together, they will be more effective at this people development plan that you're putting together. Now, finally, is what we call the developmental meetings. These are quarterly trainings and offsite meetings. I'm getting ready to do one tomorrow for one of the organizations I've been working with for a year. And we're going to be looking at 401, how to design a strengths-based culture. Now, sometimes the quarterly offsite review, and by the way, many of my clients will hire me for 4 quarterly workshops a year. And so each of those workshops, we individualize and customize to whatever their aspirational goals or challenges are. So, for example, one organization really wanted people to understand their individual brand. And so we did a whole session about strengths-based branding and how to use each other's strengths, not only individually, but also how could that company brand themselves and align their purpose and their values with their top strengths as an organization. I've also done training with other companies where it is, for example, on communication and conflict. Many times I use the language of courageous communication and confrontation. And so during that development training, we are helping people not only to tie their strengths and understand their strengths, but aim their strengths in helping them be better at communication as well as in dealing with conflict. So this is the part I think I love the most about my work, is taking strengths and then combining it with other topics that is innovative, cutting edge, and helping it to be strengths based. So I hope today gives you a quick high level framework of looking creatively at how you could integrate strengths and, using the language that I use, champion the strengths of your people and create that strengths champion culture in your organization. Just applying strengths to your team meetings is one creative idea how you will keep building the language of strengths. You will keep engaging and developing your people with strengths, and it doesn't take any more time or energy or effort. It is sustainable because you are using these meetings throughout the year. So if you'd like more information about my training, my masterminding, and my coaching that I provide for organizations as well as for leaders who want to lead strengths-based companies, then contact me at BrentO'Bannon.com. So until next time, continue to grow stronger, work smarter, and